Hello my beautiful souls and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a new tutorial and today we're going to talk all about warm highlights. You guys have been so cute requesting this in the comments and I've been looking forward to doing this video for such a long time as I truly love playing around with warm highlights and the way it can truly transform your image into a cozy, beautiful haven. In this video, I will take you through how to work with warm highlights, where to place them, and things to think about. I'm so excited that you're here. Grab your markers, grab your warm blanket, and let's get into coloring. So before we get into today's new tutorial, I want to take a moment to thank each and every single one of you for being so kind and generous with all your love and enthusiasm to my videos. It makes me so happy to see how much you love them and how much you enjoy how I color, and especially when I read how much joy it brings you in your daily life. If it's for relaxing and getting a good night's sleep or unwinding after a busy day, or if you're coloring along with me, it just brings me so much joy. I truly love to think of all of us sitting here together with our coloring books and enjoying what we're doing together, and it just makes me so incredibly happy. The response to my little tutorial series has been so overwhelming to me, and to read that you enjoy the way I explain things and how much it has helped you to evolve your coloring skills and style just makes me fly with joy. It is so exciting that you are able to pick up some helpful tips in these little videos, and that just makes me so happy. So today we will talk about something that a few of you have been asking me in the comments if I could do a video on, and that is warm highlights. And this is a video that I've been looking so much forward to doing, and one that I thought about doing ever since the first highlight video we did together. And it is such a cool way to play with light and play with different light sources to just really create this very moody, cozy atmosphere. So I've picked this little cute page right here to do that with, and I think this is gonna be very cool to create some very nice moody atmosphere. So what we will be doing in this video is talk a little bit about how you can use warm highlights either way, alone or together with regular white highlights. I like to combine both of them a little. And we're going to talk a little bit about where to place them, what to mind when you have a page, when you're doing warm highlights. And it is truly such a cool thing to play around with. My aim with this little tutorial Tuesday series is to provide you with all the skills and all the knowledge that I can give you, pass on to you, so that you are equipped with all the tools and knowledge that you need to just help unfold all that beautiful creativity that you have inside of you. So without further ado, let's get into this tutorial. So what is a little bit different when it comes to warm highlights compared to the regular highlights is that you usually go about it in the opposite way than the cold highlights. So I've chosen this image, this very cute, very Easter related. So I've chose this image today in Little Corners as the perfect example where we can play a lot around with warm highlights. So what I always love to do starting out is to take a quick glance at the picture and just see what's going on. So we have little bunny here taking a little nap, having a good night's sleep. And we also have a couple of light sources going on here. So we have here a night light, like a night light, a lamp, standing lamp here. We have another top light right here, and we have the window. So all depending on how your image look like, you can play around with these light sources. And when it comes to warm highlights, I truly love to add them when there is a candle, for example, or a sunset, or in this case a night light. You can make it into this really cozy warm light. That's the typical light sources that will create like a warm highlight. For example, when you have the moonlight or daylight or a TV or laptop, that would usually then create more of a cooler, straightforward light source, where you then would use the normal white highlight, like this pen that we always like to use. And what is a little bit different from these normal highlights, because these with a gel pen, typically like this, or acrylic pen, you add them at the end, basically after you added your colors. But with warm highlights, at least that's how I like to do it, you add them before. So without further ado, I'm gonna show you how I like to play around with warm highlights, and hopefully this will give you some helpful tips on how you can go about warm highlights on your pages. So what I like to do when I start out is to take a quick glance at my swatch cards, which are extremely helpful. And to create that warm highlight, I like to use the brightest warm yellow that I have. So a good color to use for this would be the moccasin or the very similar cream. They are both very bright, warm toned yellow. You see that on the color code too. It has the yellow and the red. It has like a slight red in there, so it makes this really warm, cozy light. And this one is though a little bit strong, so I like to combine it with the buttercup yellow. I find that this color is like the perfect warm highlight color, because it still has that warmth in it. It's not like a cool, like this here is very like a cool, on the cold side yellow. It has a lot of that warmth, and I feel like it's a natural lighter tone from the cream one. I don't know if you see that. So it has that very nice bright, and this is the yellow that I used in this picture. So this is a very cool example on how you can use warm highlights. So it makes this, you have this imaginary candle right here and it casts a warm light on the items. So that is exactly what we will be doing today. So I have here both buttercup yellow and cream, and we're gonna do the outline with the buttercup yellow and then do a little slight transition with the cream. So basically, as we did take a glance on this very cozy picture, I love how this looks like. You get a little carrot. I've become completely obsessed coloring carrots. They are so cute. And since we have here night light, I want this to be the main source of warm light. So it really helps to settle on one source at the beginning of the picture. So we obviously here have this lamp, and the window. But if you want to create warm highlights from all of these, let's say there's a sunset or a sunrise, you have this little light on, and this is going to create a page where you have the light coming from everywhere, and it's going to lose that effect. That is so solely my own preference. I really like, if you have it, same goes for shadowing. If you have many light sources, it will create shadow and no shadow everywhere. So I really like to settle on maybe one or two. So I think we're gonna go for this one. This one will simply be turned off because you would not sleep anyways with all of them on. So little bunny here is gonna be sleeping with her nightlight on to just get her cozy through the night and have no bed bugs. And then we're gonna make a little bit of a sunset or a sunrise here that could cast maybe a little bit of warm colors on this side. So the fun part about warm highlights, that is, they're very different from the normal highlights, is that I truly enjoy to add them first. Because the thing about coloring, at least with any alcohol or water-based markers, is once you go dark or once you go for strong color, you can't make it brighter. So you really have to build from light to dark, because if you do this blanket fully purple, you cannot go in with another alcohol marker and do highlights. That's different with this pen or acrylics. You can layer it on top of it and go brighter and go a different, completely different color direction, but you can't do that with alcohol markers. So we will be adding these bad boys first. As we have the light source coming from here, it will cast a regularly, as with the normal highlights, it will cast a warm highlight on each of the items where the light would hit first. So we're gonna start by adding these highlights on the different items before we do anything else. Before we start coloring and before we start lightening this lamp, we will just now add and place our warm highlights. So we're gonna start with the buttercup yellow and just work our way through the picture. So when we glance at this picture as a whole, and to start with little bunny here, it would cast a warm, nice highlight on her bow. It will also cast a little bit of the middle part as it is a little coming out, and also here on her ear, maybe a little bit on the other ear because it's really rather going backwards. This part right here I will leave out, maybe do a little bit here, and then basically the side of her face. And you already now start to see how it all comes together. It already feels like the lamp is on, right? And that's exactly what we want to achieve. So she has her little little fluffy pillow right here, and you could argue that the light would hit the side here, or since the pillow is pretty 3D, the edge of the pillow as well. So, and as we continue, we can do a little bit on the other side too. And it will also hit, so it will also hit the bed and this cozy little blanket. And this is really no rocket science, so it's all about what feels good and what feels natural. So it really helps to just imagine how the room would look like if it's kind of like halfway dark and she has the lamp on while sleeping. So since this blanket is very 3D, it would also create a warm shadow on the parts where the light would hit first. And I think here as well. And all depending on the shapes of what you are giving the highlights, you can make them really edgy or nice and round like here. And notice too, the further away we come from the light source, the shadow gets smaller and smaller, and that really helps create that feeling of realistic feeling combined with our little fantasy world. It feels very true to life that here we have a lot of highlights and a thick nice line, and the further away you come you have these thinner. So I think that's enough. So I think that's perfect for the blanket. Then we're gonna add here another highlight on the bedpost. Also up here, as the curve goes behind, there won't fall any light there. And then we will add some strong highlights on these items up here. And just always keep in mind that the highlight always falls where the light would hit first. Little light here. And here. And combining this warm highlight later with the color of the actual item is going to make it all look so nice, cozy, and realistic. So this here won't catch that much because the bag is in the way. The table will obviously have a lot of light on it, but that we're going to do in a different way. There we're going to play the same as with the background. We're going to use the different shades of the hue of the item or the wall to create like a spotlight. So another thing that's going to catch some light will be these very cute bunny toffles. Just like that. And maybe a little bit of the bedpost. And with the leaves, you can basically just go a little freestyle. These leaves are standing upwards, so they won't have any light hitting them, but this leaf, maybe this one, and maybe that one would have some light. Cool. So I think that And you see, it really already looks like, although you have no colors, no shadows, it already looks like this lamp is on and casting this very nice, cozy light on the sleeping bunny. So now that we have placed all our warm highlights, that is going to make it super easy and very nice to continue on with the picture, because you already have the warm highlights. You took your time to really look where would they be placed, and it makes it very easy to move forward when you start coloring in all these items. So the next thing we're going to do is to color the lamp that is currently giving off all this beautiful cozy light, and then continue using that light technique to fill in the rest of the wall. So the way we're going to do that is to first give the lamp a base light layer of a warm yellow, and this is my favorite way to color any kind of light source, and for the sake of this video I'll keep it pretty simple in the fact that we are going to make this one like a glowing yellow orangey light, and that way make it very obvious and very easy to read that this warm light is giving off all this warm highlights, filling in the entire lamp with the brightest color, and then gradually build shadows and the glow from there. Like that. And the part about this set of hues is that they are very similar when they're wet. So with these ones I really like to, although these are round shapes, and when you would shade now it would give that very nice round effect, I like to wait a little bit, because if not they all blend into each other so much that you don't necessarily see the different nuances anymore. So I'm gonna let this one dry a little bit and then go in with the chrome orange, which is this really nice warm hue, and create the shadows of this lamp and really help give it that a nice glow. And then we're gonna go in with the cadmium orange and just give it a little more depth. Just like that. So it looks at the same time like this really nice orangey warm lamp cover. I don't know what this is called in English, and it still looks like it has that glowing from within. And what we're gonna do now is go back with a slightly brighter buttercup yellow and make a hue of light around this lamp hold. And then it's very important to think one step ahead to what color you would love the background to be. So I'm thinking, because I'm slightly obsessed with purple, you know me by now, and because I have a lot of different hues in this range of the lavender purple, this cooler purple, I have a lot of hues that go very well together, and can help make this from bright to dark and almost like the room is completely dark. So it really helps to choose a color where you know with the colors that you have that you can provide that nice transition from light to dark. So it will be also a very nice contrast to this very warm orangey, and to go against that with a nice purple. So we're gonna start with the viola after the buttercup yellow, go slightly then into the dark violet and over to the pale blue violet. So, and have them ready so that you can really go fast before the ink dries. I'm gonna first use the buttercup yellow to go in and make this very nice radiating hue around the lamp. So then I'm going to go in with the brightest of the purples, which is the viola, while it's still wet, and really just blend it nicely together. Oh, it's gonna make that really nice transition. And if you feel that it dried too quick, it really helps, like with the blending, to go over it again with the buttercup yellow just to make it a little wet. And just keep the edges of the purple as well wet. Just like that, and go slightly in with the buttercup yellow here, and then go straight on to the dark violet light before the purple dries. And here it really helps to use these tiny spaces as a way to break, so that you can take your time and don't have to stress it, because here you won't see the transition that much. And then you just do the same thing here. Just like that, and then you can go back and just fine-tune that radiating light so that it truly looks natural. So you already see it feels like the lamp is on, and then you can go back into the corners and really give it that feeling that the light is on. Oh, I love it. That looks so cute. So I think I will just add a little bit of viola right here to make the transition a little gradual. So, and then I'm gonna continue, and then I'm gonna use already there the slightly darker pale blue violet, and start gradually build the darkness up here. And also use the previous color, the dark violet light, to make that transition really smooth. And it already looks super cute. So I'm gonna go in with the pale blue violet, also a little bit here in the end, to give it that dramatic look. And now you see that here as well could use a little. Like that. And this is basically how you can go about taking this light source and making a natural gradient light on the background. And this we will do in the same similar way than on the nightstand. When it comes to spaces like this where also this rose would obviously cast some shadow, it really helps to focus on one thing at a time. So I like to just focus on the transition of the wall first, and then we can go back later and add shadows on all these items. So to not make things too complicated for yourself, stick to one thing first, and then you can always go back and add like this really nice sharp shadow on these items. So since we're moving further and further away from the light source, I won't pull this one too far because I want to give the last purple hue enough space as well, and mind that it will blend a little bit. So I think right about here could be a nice transition. Then I'm going to go in with the last color of our 3 purple hues, which is the pale blue violet, and do the rest of the wall. And what I really love about this particular purple is that it truly gives the impression of a, in this case, purple wall where the lights are turned off. I don't know how you feel about it, but it has this kind of dark in it that makes it look like that, and I really love to play around with that. And you really see that the further away you come, the darker the color gets, and you still have that very strong purple hue coming through, that the room is purple, and that looks absolutely beautiful. So now that we have the wall in place and have added the shadow around, or the light around the lamp, we're going to continue by doing the same thing to this really cute nightstand. So we have here a little collection of colors that we will be using for the nightstand, and we're gonna go from this very bright light highlight and then gradually build it with the cream salmon pink and the fruit pink to make a gradual light flow from the lamp and turning it into the actual color of the nightstand, which will be the light prawn. So we're going to line these up nicely in the right direction so that you can grab them quickly. And then we're going to start with a little ring of light with the buttercup yellow around the foot of the lamp, really basically where the light hit first, and you want to make it a little generous because you will use parts of that light to gradually build further. So I'm going to continue with cream, which is a little darker, and do the same thing there. I'm going to zoom a little in so that you see and give it that really nice transition. And also here be a little generous with the space, and then go in with the salmon pink because we're now building it gradually into more of a pinkish hue. And you can basically do this with any color, right? So you could build this one gradually into green or blue, all depending on your style. And then we ended up with the light prawn, and you can really just pull this one as far in as you feel suits the image. And by doing that, you see that you have this very nice natural warm highlight around the lamp, and you can go back in with the fruit pink to help make that transition even smoother. Just like that. And suddenly you see the entire lamp really come to life. So I'm gonna go in with the light prawn and color the rest of the nightstand. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the bedspread also in pink, because it will give it this nice bright bed sheets. And here we start going in where we did do the warm highlights. And basically what you do now is you leave the warm highlights as they are and just fill in the rest of the space with the color of your choice. Like that. And to make this little as cohesive as it can be, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same color as we did the nightstand for the bed. itself. Leave the warm highlights yellow. Like that, and do the same thing here. And for Little Miss Bunny, you're gonna use Natural Grade 2 together with Cool Grade 2 to color her. And I won't go too much in detail with shadowing in this video, as we will do so in the next one. Then we go in with the shadows while it's slightly wet still, and I make these nice round curves. Like that. And you already start to see how this moody light is making the entire scene very, very, very cute and cozy. Yellowish green and horizon green, and always starting with a brighter color. Just like that. And you truly see the entire page starting to come to life. So for the blanket, I want to really try out a warmer hue of purple, so I'm gonna go for the pale lilac, pastel violet, and mauve. So I think it will help tie this entire Eastery image together. So we're gonna start with the pale lilac and just go in right after the warm highlight and just follow the curves of the blanket. Now I'm gonna go in before it dries with the other colors, and starting with the pastel violet. And then ending it with mauve. And I'm just going to repeat that for all the pieces of the blanket. And when you come to the window, it's really cool to mind that some light will come from there as well, so you can make the brighter purple go all the way around. And it really helps make this really 3D light effect. And just like that. And you see you have this really nice 3D effect. You have the lamp light falling nicely on the blanket here. and as well as some light coming from the window, and the rest is really nice gradually with shadows. We will be adding shadows to this picture in the next tutorial, so there we can go then even deeper with that purple when it's dried, so we see exactly how dark it gets, and then just add a little more dramatic effects to this picture. But I thought it could be a cool thing to do another shadows tutorial with a different kind of setting like this, where you have the warm light and the dark coming together pretty nicely. So for her tuffles we will be using these hues of blue, going from the very light frost blue to the robin's egg blue and to pastel blue. And we will just do the same thing with starting with the brightest color closest to the highlights, leaving the highlights free. And then just building it gradually. Looks like really cool striped ones. And then we go in with the robin's blue egg and create that really nice transition. And end it with pastel blue. And that looks super cute. Oh my god, I love the colors together. Oh, that's so cool. I think I'm gonna use the same color selection for the pillowcase, just to have that pick up with each other and make it really nice and cohesive. And ending it with pastel blue. It really gives it that very rich, cool looking. So I hope this little tutorial gave you a better feeling of how you can use warm highlights to make this really cozy light in your picture. I'm gonna stop the tutorial here to not make it too long because I really enjoy making these tutorials, truly bite-sized, and I will continue this picture with you next week. Then we will fill in all the other pieces and also work a lot with shadows. So the rest of the items will be part of that tutorial, and you can either way continue and finish this piece by yourself, or you wait for us to finish it together next week. the fun part about this is really just letting yourself play around with feeling into where the light would hit first, and don't be scared. So I hope this little tutorial gave you a little better insight and thoughts on how to play around with warm highlights in your coloring page. I truly enjoy this so much because it makes it that extra cozy. I just love how this lamp light falls on the pillow, on her face, on the blanket, how it makes that ring of light on the wall behind the lamp. And this is truly a technique that you can use for everything. If it's a candle, if it's light from a lamp or a sunset, just play around with where your light source is coming from and then placing all the highlights on the items where the light would hit it first. And I'm super excited how this one turned out. We're not finished yet, and I'm very excited to continue this one next week. I won't touch it until then, I promise. We will finish this one together, and I'm super excited about adding a lot of cool colors to this picture and adding a whole lot of shadows. So it will basically be a shadow tutorial part 2, where we take completely different light source. We don't have the daylight in the first tutorial with the doghouse. So it will be kind of like a freshening up tutorial about shadows, and I'm truly very excited about that because there's a lot of items here that create a very cool shadow. Because the light is very condensed and fairly deep in the picture, we can work a lot with cool shadows and make it a very cozy, warm, and dramatic picture. So thank you so much for watching this little tutorial, for spending this hour with me. So if there's anything else you would love to know more about, or for me to make a dedicated video about a certain topic, please let me know down in the comments. I enjoy so much chatting with you guys in the comments, and they make me so happy. And it makes me so warm in my heart to hear that you feel so much progress through watching these videos. That just makes me so happy. So without further ado, I wish you a beautiful evening, have a good night's sleep, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!